Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks for joining. You know, the responses I got were very funny and positive on the previous video. If you haven't seen the first video in this series, take a look up here and it'll take you to it. I suggest you do. Questions that we asked bar girls during our last bar hop. I could have interviewed your future ex-wife. I don't know. But let's continue with some of the girls and some of the questions.
I never got it, why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay, so I thought it'd be interesting that you would know a couple of things in advance that I have to put in every one of these videos, and I apologize. Number one, these bars could have been American bars. They could have been Korean bars. They could have been a Taiwanese bar. There are a couple of them, guys. They could have been on Walking Street. They could have been on Perimeter Road. They could have been on Fields Ave, or they could have been on any of the side streets adjacent to those. But they were all here in Angeles City. Okay? I think it's important that you recognize that. We won't be talking about the name of the bars, and we won't be talking about particulars of the bars because of privacy. In addition to that, we're not going to name the girls. They know we're bloggers. They know that we are trustworthy. We've known and been around for years, and we have a rapport with many of them. Okay. We're not going to mention their names because can't go back and ask more questions if we do. All right. Now, the next set of questions, or actually, this continues down a list of questions, but a different bar, different set of girls. But I thought there's some generic things that you might be interested in. 87% of the girls that we spoke with are from the province. Okay? They're not city girls. There's the vast majority are not city girls. 3 of the girls that we interviewed had been working for less than 3 months. And quite frankly, their English skills were a little rusty, and their experience levels were definitely not the same. However, most of the girls we interviewed had been working for over 8 months, and many of them for more than a year. So, questions that we continued to ask. And I'm going to go into this because we talked about this for a little bit in the first video, but I thought it was interesting to go down and list all the reasons. If a girl is on stage, I said, and she sees a room full of guys, and she sees a particular type of guy, and she's like, oh my God, I don't want to bar fine with him. Please don't let him ask to buy me a drink. Boom. What kind of guy is that? We asked. All right. Well, we told you the first one was old, fat guys. Okay. But then we got a lot of nationalities and other things. Skinny guys with tattoos. That was one of the answers. Okay. Men with beards. That was one of the answers. Actually, it was old men with beards, to be honest with you. But then we got some nationalities. Black men. And I'm not being racist. I'm just telling you the way it was. But that was only one response. Korean men. Only one response. Now, what's funny is Japanese men. And there were several responses like that. All right. And it was like, why? Why Japanese men? And the answer was they're very aggressive. They are very cheap and very aggressive. They don't tip well, and it's not worth it, and it's no fun. Okay, fine, whatever. All right. Next question was, you know what? What was the wildest time you ever had with a customer? Okay. You know what? The responses in that were not real wild as far as I'm concerned. Okay. But two of them were. The first one was she had a guy that came in and wanted her to attend an orgy with him. He needed a date to go to this orgy. All right. Well, how was it? She said there was about 6 couples and a couple of single guys at this orgy. All right. At a certain hotel I won't name. And she said she had a good time. She said she actually enjoyed it. That it was a new experience for her. Okay? So, sure. Great. Glad you think so. One of the interesting things that one of the girls said, we get a lot of Australians, New Zealanders, UK. I mean, people come from all over, right? She says to me, I don't know if I would say this is the craziest thing, but it happens all the time with Australians. And I'm like, okay, what would that be? She goes, they always want to go to the sex shop store and buy a toy to use in them, if you understand what I mean. And I'm like, okay, this has happened more than once. And she said, yes, multiple times. And I've never had an American do that. I've never had a British guy do that, but I've had multiple Australians do that. All right. You Aussies are getting a little crazy out there, aren't you? Who knows? Now, I thought this was interesting. I got to tell you, I didn't think of this question until later in the evening after we'd already interviewed 4 or 5 girls. But then it came up. Are you straight? Are you bisexual? Or are you a lesbian? The responses were varied. The vast majority, I would say 50%, okay, of the girls that we interviewed were straight. Okay, and then their next part were they bisexual? And this is kind of different, okay? Their idea, Filipinos' ideas of bisexual means they were happy and fine to kiss a girl, happy and fine to touch and play, but they're not going to do anything south of the equator. Not all of them, all right? Some of them are very much so and very willing to so. But then I kind of got to the point, well, I might be a lesbian. And I'm saying, well, what do you mean by that? And she's like, well, I actually have more fun playing with a girl than a guy. In fact, I often get bar fined as the second girl. I said, oh, do you have any friends that you enjoy more than others to be the first girl? And she goes, Yeah, yeah. We do a good job, and she points at another girl, and we do a good job, and points to another girl. But I thought that was interesting. Finally, I sat there and I said, okay, the age old question, maybe, or one of the age old questions. Do you fake orgasm? Yes, absolutely. How often? Maybe every second or third time. And I said, why? She goes, well, you want to keep the customer happy. And it's also a good excuse to say, oh my God, that was so good. I'm worn out. So you don't have to do it again. All right. And I said, okay, I can understand that. And she goes, plus, you want to make the customer feel good. They may be here and want you again. So that works. So then it brought up the next question. And the question was, hey, do you take care of your own needs yourself? And this is where I was surprised. With the exception of a few girls, the girls that hadn't been in the business more than 3 months, and a couple of others, but over 75%, I would say, over 50% at least, of the girls said, absolutely. And I asked them, okay, do you use a toy or do you just use yourself? And the reply was pretty much 50-50. Now, there's more to that, but that'll be in another video. Look, a couple of different things that I would like to say. If you find this information funny, if you find it informative, if you like the effort or appreciate the effort that we put forward, please do subscribe and hit that thumbs up. The second thing is give me comments. Please comment. And in those comments, maybe you would suggest some new questions for our next go around, which I'm already considering doing again. So we thank you very much for dropping in, and we appreciate your time.